Obviously, at the top, you have T.J. Watt, Micah Parsons, and
Myles Garrett's better than everybody,
you
right?
can shut the hell up about that.
Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett.
I got facts. I got stats. I got a lot of different things here. All right.
But who won Defensive Player of the Year last year?
Look at the stats, bud. Look who's better.
the stats
they just couldn't keep on giving TJ the Defensive Player of the Year award. That's what that is. That's like not giving LeBron MVP every year. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Here we go. Oh, boy. And welcome back, boys. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite couch potatoes. I'm your host, Jay Cubs, joined as always by your co-host, Big Country and Feisty. We are finally back. We only spent like 2.5 hours waiting for Feist to get his technology set up, but are you ready now, buddy? Can we?
At least it wasn't me this time. I just got to say, at least it wasn't my problem this time.
Just trying to keep it interesting, boys. That's all that matters.
You always got to do something, but anyways, let's get into the sports news around the world. It's a good time to get into that because we are in the Olympics. I think today was day 2 as we're recording the podcast. And just a couple big storylines. We're not going to go through all the medals and all the other freaking, there's so much shit going on. But one thing that was kind of like interesting to note, because maybe the Patriots cannot be the cheaters going on anymore. It's the Canadians. Okay. The Canadian women's soccer coach was removed from the Olympics after they were caught using a drone to spy on other opponents' practices. So Patriots aren't cheaters anymore, boys. It's the Canadians. Okay. We can all agree on that.
No. I'm not agreeing on it.
What, are you not a Patriot? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, hold on a minute. Now
Whoa.
Got it there.
Now you're just putting words in my mouth there.
There's the hot button.
There you go. Well, another big news with the Olympics is it's coming back to Utah, boys. 2034, we are getting the Winter Olympics, baby. The International Olympic Committee officially decided on that. So I know it was 2002 the last time it was here. So Vice, you were still in Africa. Me and Wes were.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Me and Wes were still babies, but yeah, we're gonna be able to witness the Olympics, boys. Are you guys excited about that, or what?
Made me fucking cry again, bro.
I think I'm the most excited out of the two of you, I guess.
Yeah, we were there. You weren't.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, this should be good for Utah. Good for, just the amount of the economy and everything. Something's going on.
God damn it.
Bro, what is going on? You guys are frozen. Hello?
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Bro, what is going on?
Yeah, at least it's a good picture of him.
Yeah, right? Hopefully it ends on this one. Okay, all right. And speaking of technical difficulties, Feisty's internet just has to go out in the middle of our freaking intro, basically. So, Feist, are we good? Can we continue to record, or?
Boys, I hope so. Let's see how it goes. I'm not sure what's going on today.
Well, let's just move on into the NFL because, man, it is really starting to pop off, and we're like a month away now. We're getting ready. Let's just start with some big contracts, some big contracts. Jordan Love, former Utah State Aggie, baby, becomes the highest paid quarterback in NFL history with a 4-year, $220 million contract. And this is just after, 1 year of starting.
Yeah.
I personally, I like it. I think that, it's just the way we've talked about it, where these quarterbacks are just going to, keep increasing the market these days. I like Jordan Love. I think he's, a franchise guy. I get paying him to become the highest paid quarterback. Maybe a little bit of a stretch, but fuck. His I don't know if you guys know about his agent, David Mulugeta. Dude knows how to make some money and get his guys paid. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I just think that, I mean, he's only been a starter for a year, right? And obviously they've been able to see him throughout his whole rookie deal because he was sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. But I don't know. I don't like him being the highest paid QB after only seeing him for a year. Granted, he played fucking amazing with a really young team, really inexperienced team.
Came down to
Vice,
this, to
Vice,
like
you
beating the
should,
Niners.
yeah, Vice, you should feel pretty bad about that. But just saying. But yeah, I don't know. I think that he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he deserves number highest paid quarterback money right now.
Hey man, why are we taking shots on me earlier already, man? We haven't even talked about the Cowboys yet.
Well, because we had to wait for an hour to record because you're just out here with all these technical difficulties. So I'm going to be taking shots all day today.
He's
I
pissed. All
do I
right,
do deserve that.
you're
Maybe I need to
taking
get
it
better.
today.
Usually it's me. We said this. Usually it's me that has the technical difficulties, but
Oh,
today it's just all been you.
maybe I need to get a new agent so I can get a new contract and
You need
get
David
better internet.
Mulugeta, man. You need David Mulugeta is what
But
you need.
I love this too. Like Jacob said, I think that this is like a like great thing for him just because he's young and they're able to keep him for the next 4 or 5 years. And so I love it, and I love Jordan Love. I love Jordan Love. Uh,
love, baby. We
love
love.
Love. So I think
Do you
he's
love it
proven.
when he was smacking
No,
the
no, let's not talk
Cowboys like
about that.
27-0 in the playoff game? You remember that?
Let's not
Or
even
hey,
mention that.
we could even go Cowboys and Packers. Did Dez catch it or?
Oh my gosh, guys! It was a
All right, bring it back.
let it
Bring
go. Let it go. Don't press that high button. But like I said, I think this is a great thing just because the Packers, they've always been the team that kind of gets their franchise quarterback and they stick with them for however long that they can. So this is their next franchise quarterback. He's shown what he can do. We were all kind of surprised, but after learning from Aaron Rodgers and sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, you kind of pick up a thing or two. And so I think he definitely deserves this pay, and it's only gonna start a chain reaction. So to me personally, I think he was worth it, and I think this was a great pick for the Packers. So now, 2 years, 3 years down the road, is that going to be the same thing? I don't know. But for right now, they know that they have their franchise guys. So, and speaking of the franchise, wow, you are right, Jacobs, when you say this is big contract. So another
Another one.
player who was able to get a contract extension, and we kind of questioned a little bit was Tua Tonga Vailoa.
Nice.
Ooh.
Vice pronounced that name.
Ooh.
I actually
Hey,
like Tua, so
hey.
that's why I can pronounce that one. But he got a 4 year, $212.4 million contract extension, which makes him the third highest paid QB in the league. So I love Tua. I've always been a big fan of him. I usually try to draft him in fantasy football. I liked him when he was at Alabama, and he's a stud. And I love the combo with him and Tyreek Hill, um, and this just kind of shows that they are committed to him. We were all kind of worried: is this going to be a thing where are they going to pay him? Are they going to be worried about his injuries and getting concussed? And so I love this move. I think this is just kind of like we said, starts that chain reaction. So good for him to be the third highest QB.
No, I honestly, Feist, I think you're fucking dead wrong. He should
Wow.
not be the third highest paid quarterback in the league. Let me list it off: Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. God, now I'm blanking, but there's so many there's so many better Lamar Jackson. I feel like there's so many like Josh Allen. There you go. Like there's just Aaron Rodgers even. I feel like Tua's like good, but not that good. And I feel like that's what we were talking about, where he's gonna get this money. We knew that, but I don't think he deserves to be a top 3, top 5. Like I would say maybe he's a fringe top 10 quarterback in the league. So
Wow.
for him to get the third highest contract, I think it's going to end up fucking the Dolphins in the long run. My thing is, I like you were saying, you draft Tua in fantasy and stuff. I did that too, just because of Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle and all the weapons they had. That's why I did it. Not really because of Tua. I just really haven't seen that much from Tua.
Yeah, and I agree with Kyle there. I don't think that he's a top 5 QB in the league at all. I don't think he deserves the third most money. And like Kyle was saying, I think the only reason why he's good is because of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert. I think that that group of guys is just so talented. You know,
Right.
Patrick Mahomes proved that he could do it without Tyreek Hill. I don't think Tua could do it without Tyreek Hill.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get both of your guys' points. I think that they are legitimate good points, but at the same time, I think that this franchise believes in him. Like we were talking about it earlier in the episodes, that they were worried about it. They're like, are they going to give him a $50 million contract? And then they were like, nope, they're not sure if they're going to pay him. And then they also were worried about his health issues, his concussions and stuff. This just kind of shows that they do believe in him, and I think that he is the franchise quarterback. Not that I think he is the franchise quarterback, and I think he was worth this contract. I mean, I get where the probably shouldn't be the third highest paid, but the Dolphins certainly believe so, and I think that as long as they can keep that core together with Jalen Wallow and Tyreek Hill and keep them safe from and build that O line, I think you can get your money's worth. In my opinion, I think he's proven to be a top 10 quarterback. But it's just the Dolphins believing in him, and I think I believe in him too. So I'm excited to see what he does this next season. If he can stay healthy and that old line can protect him, I think he's gonna do really well. And if he can learn to just slide too, I think these running quarterbacks, they need to learn to slide sometimes. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to go in and get your freaking body crushed. So yeah, I think that's where I kind of like might be a little bit wrong, boys.
I don't think so, bro. I think you're fucking wrong. I think you're fucking off on this, because my thing about it is Tua, he doesn't even run that much. Like I know he's mobile, but he doesn't get that many rushing yards. Like so much of their offense is predicated on, like I think they were the fastest snap to pass team in the league last year. Like
Right.
it's all timing and stuff. So I just haven't seen that much from Tua, that he is that special. Now I was like a little bit higher on him, but like last season as it went on, just kind of my opinion on him just went down and down. I know our boy Julio was shitting on Tua since day one last year, so maybe he was right about it all, but maybe you're right, Feisty. We'll have to see. Like you said, the Dolphins believe in him. But my problem is I think that like you feel like you have to pay these guys. I think when we talked about it, it's like maybe let's give Tua a 2-3 year contract instead of
Right.
a 4 or 5, right? And commit, like, let's see something really good from you.
See,
So,
but that's the thing too, right? I mean, it's just, I mean, you're taking a risk. It's like Dallas with Dak, right? I mean, if you think that Dak's the problem, I'm not trying to make fun of him. I don't know why you're giving me that look right now, but it's
He
like
is
a
the
Dallas.
legit
problem.
point. It was a
He is.
legit point,
But it's
Feist.
like Dallas with Dak. I mean, if you think that Dak's the problem, how long is it going to take for you to get a QB that's at least at his level again? Because obviously
Yeah.
Dak gets them to at least 12-4 every year. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
In the
then
first round.
Tua, first round
yeah,
exit. Yep, that's right.
and then Tua is good enough to get them there. It's just the problem is I don't think that he's a quarterback that's going to get them to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like I think he's good enough. I think he's good enough to be a starter in the league. I think that he's a great quarterback. I just don't think that he's the answer to get them to the Super Bowl.
Well, I'd say this too. If you put Justin Herbert in Miami, that's an instant Super Bowl contending team.
Ooh, yeah.
Instantly. Like, without a question. With those weapons and everything, as long as they can figure it out on defense, like if you replace Tua and Justin Herbert, I'm saying they're Super Bowl AFC championship minimum.
But here's the thing, though. I think you could say that about any. I mean, there's just. I mean, I get where you're going with that because Justin Herbert, you can put him in with the Cowboys. I'll take him any day, and he would
On the
still thrive.
Patriots.
No,
The
not the
Steelers.
Patriots, but
Or the
he
Steelers.
could go anywhere else.
No, you have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, okay? You have
Yeah,
enough
calm down over there.
quarterbacks, okay?
Calm down over there, dude.
They're so great, okay? So you don't need another good one.
But I mean, it's just like that's my point. It's like you already have good quarterback. I think it's just how do you build that franchise around him, right? Like they already have the receiving, they already have the running back. I think the biggest thing is you got to protect that guy. If he's worth that much money, you got to protect that asset, right? And so I think as long as they build that all line and he can be protected, I think they're gonna get their money's worth. I'm not sure if they're gonna go far in the playoffs, just like the Cowboys. You know, it's just one of those things. You get into the first round and you exit right away. So, and if, like you said, is it Dak's problem? Is it a Cowboys thing? I'm not sure,
Yep.
but you got to change something. And I think the Dolphins believe in Tua, and I think that's where they're going with this. Is that this is their guy, and that they're ready to move on with it and run with it and see how he does. Because at the end of the day, you know, we've seen players with big contracts get traded. There's always somebody that needs that quarterback. So
Right. I
I'm
don't know
looking
if you'd call it like a prove it year for Tua, but it's, like I feel like that's almost kind of where people are at. And speaking of like it's now or never, the Rams and Matthew Stafford, so they just agreed to a new restructured deal. So Matthew, he wanted a extension, didn't work out, but basically they gave him more money this season instead of like his next season or something like that. So they're basically let's put it off for now. Here's your money, Matthew, and then we'll try again next season. So Rams get Matthew Stafford. They're happy. They're good. They're ready to go. I'm excited to see what the Rams could do because I know they were slow going to start last year. But can you imagine Cooper Cup and Puka, Matthew Stafford? That offense is going to be dangerous. And if they can figure shit out, they might be able to compete with the Niners in that NFC West.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're. I don't know who's going to compete with the Niners. You know what I mean? I just think that team's too good. If they trade Brandon Ayuk, then that changes a little bit of their offense. But they've still got weapons to, support the losing of Brandon Ayuk. I don't know if anybody's going to, top the Niners. But yeah, I mean, Stafford's just getting up to an age now that, he was already getting hurt when he was in Detroit. I don't know. I just don't know how much longer he's going to go, type of thing. And I think that's the same spot that the Rams are in. Instead of giving him an extension, they just restructure his contract to pay him a little more next season and kind of see how that goes. Just because I think the Rams have a question with his longevity.
I mean, you hit that on the nail, dude. Like that's really what it is. It's a tryout basically, right? They're trying to see, let's put our assets, put everything on him this year and then figure out what happens next year. If he ends up doing really well, then maybe we give him another 2-year extension and we can get him up to a level where, you know, we're competing again. I like Matthew Stafford. I think that he's a dog. He's definitely proven that. Now, like Wes said, can he stay healthy is the question, right? I think that kind of determines what he can do. If he's healthy, that offense is clicking. They're amazing, and we saw where Puka Nakua came from, like out of nowhere. So imagine him healthy with Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford healthy, and Cooper Cup healthy. I think they have an amazing offensively team. It's just a matter of staying healthy and continuing on to actually work together in the off season because that makes a big difference, right? Like a quarterback can come in any day and try to make an impact, but if you don't have that chemistry from the start, not knowing if you need to like switch a route to go 10 and out or 10 and in, like sometimes you just get a feeling, and then when he's trying to scramble too. So I'm excited. I think that they're gonna do really well too. Like you said, Jacobs. I think that this is a prove it kind of year for him. Um, Now as far as what happens next, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing too, is their defense. They lose Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald retired, right? So their defense is not up to par. Obviously, the Niners' defense is way better. I think their offense is going to be stat if they can, stay in games, score 30 points a game, that they could have a good season. I think, Wes, you bring up a good point. It's going to be hard to compete with the Niners. They're just so complete. Now they're starting to kind of break down, but they might be able to hang on to it for another season or two. But the Rams are definitely going to have a high-powered offense. We'll have to see how that defense holds up for sure.
See, and that's what I was saying too, because I mean, me and my dad were talking about this because my dad's a Rams fan, and he was talking about, like, the offense is obviously there. I mean,
right,
Puka Nacua is that dog, right?
Fuck, he is.
But I guess
BYU product, right?
Yeah, guess what school he came from.
Hey, there we go. Some good came out of that school.
Homer.
But the other thing is too, is right, like, if the defense is bad and they can't stay, and they can't shut down other offenses, then that means that Stafford's going to have to be on the field more. Yep. It's the same concept, right? You have to be balanced on both sides of the ball, or else it's going to be a lot harder. And obviously it's been proven to be done that with how the Rams are built now, because of, like, Patrick Mahomes in his first couple Super Bowls, right? Their defense was average at best, and they were still able to do it. But, that's the one thing, is that Stafford's going to have to be on the field, I think, a lot more now. And it's all just a question on if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens with that whole power offense. If they need to just score, if they just are going to be the team that, like, just outscore people to keep up with them, or if they can, somehow put together a good drives to score 30 points, like Jacob said, or, help that defense gets a stop or two, so you don't have to continually have. And Matthew Stafford actually gets hit a lot. Mm-hmm. So, and we've seen what happened to him with his shoulder, his arm, whatever it was. Like, he's always getting hurt because there's no one to protect his O-line. So it's definitely a prove-it year for him. And I'm kind of hoping for him. And so a player that I'm not hoping for that does really well is Mr. JJ McCarthy. He officially has signed his contract with the Minnesota Vikings. He gets a 4-year, $21.85 million with a $12.71 million signing bonus. So I'm
Vikings fans. I'm so sorry. That sucks.
Yeah. No, we love that for you. Actually, we love that for you. The next 4 years is going to be
terrible.
Torturing.
You got screwed.
I feel bad for Justin Jefferson.
And they traded up for him too. That's the sad part.
Well, and Mr. Sam Darnold, he's going to be taking the majority of QB1 snaps in training camp. That's already come out. So, I mean, no surprise there. Obviously, you have to go with Sam Darnold. Is Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy? It's a pretty easy decision. Now, it's not it's not the most ideal situation, but it's basically like it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, right? Like, you got to pick one of the two, right?
Yeah.
Which one's better? None of them are really good. But obviously JJ McCarthy sucks, so
yeah, he was put into a system where he was, forced to be successful, where they just dominated the ball with the run. So maybe the Vikings will have to do that. Justin Jefferson will have to become a running back for them to be successful.
Well, and speaking of that Michigan team, Blake Corum, I feel like he's gonna be the number one running back for that Rams team. Because I think they lost Cam Akers to the Texans. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who else they have at running back.
It was really just Akers there. So
Corum might be the guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, back to McCarthy. I mean, Sam, I mean, is Sam Darnold really the guy that you want to learn under? First of all,
Nope.
you know what I mean.
Nope.
Like, is that really the guy that you want teaching your rookie quarterback how to play? I mean,
No.
at least in New England, you have Jacoby Brissett, who's proven to like actually be good in the league.
Yes, sir.
I think he's like, I don't know. I don't think that Sam Darnold makes it that long. I think that
Really?
by game 3, game 4, I'm thinking that they'll switch to McCarthy because,
I don't know.
and it also depends too because I mean, do you keep your number 1 receiver happy because that guy's been a dog in this league and who's gonna do it?
Hell, watching. I don't know if you guys have seen the receiver like show on Netflix. That dude can ball with anybody. Justin Jefferson, I would say hands down, he's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, like for sure. I'll say that right now.
You can just throw it up to the dude and he'll go get it. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Yeah,
so I know I said last podcast I might not draft him because JJ McCarthy might be his quarterback, but now that I'm hearing Sam Darnold might take QB1 snaps, I can draft him again. And
but I don't think Sam Darnold makes it longer than 4 weeks.
I don't know, bro. But that's the thing. If JJ McCarthy comes in, and I don't think he's going to be able to do better. I think Sam Darnold, I don't know. When you put him in that Niners offense, obviously it's different, but when he was with the Jets, obviously that's a different thing. Like the Jets fucking suck. They always do. But like, I don't know. I think Sam Darnold's a lot better than JJ McCarthy, especially at this point. I would say if the Vikings, I'd say like 8 weeks. I'm going to go 8 weeks for Sam Darnold.
Wow. That's generous. I was giving him 5 weeks. I think it gives him 5 weeks. I like Sam better than Sam Darnold better than JJ. You know my hate for JJ is just as strong as you. So
no,
I've
not.
always been a firm believer.
No, it's not.
Okay,
mine's the best.
Second place.
I hate him the most. You remember how worried I was that the fucking Patriots would draft him. I promise you I hate JJ more.
that is very true. I think you probably hate him a little bit more, but he's not good. I think that he was put in. Hey, you know who else is actually not good? Brock Purdy. He ain't good. But JJ McCarthy is in that realm where it's like I give Sam 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. And I think if he ends up performing well, he keeps that starting job. But if he doesn't, it goes to JJ, and it's going to be amazing to see that fall apart. So I'm definitely excited for what the Vikings are about to do this season.
I like how you took like the middle between me and Wes too. You're like, oh yeah, 5-6 weeks, yeah, somewhere around there. Take the easier out.
I'm trying to be a little bit less generous, but at the same time be a little bit fair. I think that even with having Justin Jefferson, that doesn't guarantee you success. You actually have to throw the ball to the guy, and all I see him is just eating dirt or eating grass the whole entire or turf. I mean.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot like how Devontae Adams in Vegas. Yeah. You know, Justin Jefferson's going to get fucking creamed every play because they.
That's a thing. Right. That's a point. On the receiver show, Devontae Adams literally says like, "I'm going to fucking die here. Like I have to get out of here because he is just like getting freaking destroyed, and it's because." That's what I said. I remember talking to you boys when he made this move to go to Vegas that like it was one of the worst decisions I feel like because you left Aaron Rodgers to go to Derek Carr, which I know. I won't get too into it, okay? But like it was his college quarterback and everything go to Vegas. But like what did you expect going to the Raiders, bro? They've been ass for years. But yeah, what you're talking about with Justin Jefferson is kind of that same path without Kirk Cousins, especially. And I don't know. I don't know if I can blame the Vikings for paying Justin Jefferson instead of Kirk Cousins because I think obviously Jefferson's younger and he's the best receiver in the league, but you better hope JJ is worth it.
The guy, he can't even finish it. He hates him that much.
Well, hey, the Vikings.
Sign it out with me.
Well, hey, the Vikings had another big signing they were able to lock down a really key piece to their offensive line. So maybe they can keep McCarthy and Darnold upright. They signed offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw to a 4-year, $113 million extension with $77 million guaranteed.
Hell yeah!
So I mean, it's just, I mean, at least they're locking down a piece that'll keep both of them upright. You know what I mean? That's the key part. That's what you were talking about earlier, Vice.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge for them. I think that this kind of gives them a little bit of security to protect that young quarterback or the old quarterback. If it was me and I was getting 77 million guaranteed, I'd act like I was blocking for him and let people go boom on JJ McCarthy, baby.
That's how you get fired like that.
77 million guaranteed. It don't matter what I gotta do at that point.
Yeah,
I'll
but
be like,
there's contract restrictions there, buddy. If you're just letting,
I'm gonna make sure I get a good lawyer, bro, and a good agent.
Feisty just doesn't understand these contracts. I
Apparently not. But, no, I'm just joking. I like this. Honestly, like all jokes aside, I think this will be a super important signing for them. I think as long as they keep trying to build that, and I've always been a big believer, you know me, build that wall. You know, having to protect your quarterback is a key part of it, and if you have a line that can do that and also can move the ball while you're running, it's a big part of it. So $77 million guaranteed is a lot of money, and he better be worth it by protecting those quarterbacks, whoever ends up being. So
yes, sir. And I know they got Aaron Jones from the Packers. They signed him, so it's definitely predicate on the running game, and if you can shore up that offensive line, it'll definitely help JJ. In all seriousness, that guy was really good in a system that was built by the running game, as you're seeing John Harbaugh do in Los Angeles with the Chargers. And they're totally changing up what they're doing there. So if they can get something like that going, that's going to help JJ for sure. That dude was, he was money off of the running game because I can't remember what it was against like Penn State or something. He didn't throw a pass in the second half, but he didn't need to because Blake Corum and that offensive line could just pound the shit out of that rock and just make it happen. So it's definitely a good signing. Christian Darrisaw is a dog, so love that for the Vikings. And yeah, you definitely need that, especially for whoever plays quarterback. Gonna need that guy to protect him.
for sure, big time. And I as much as we're giving the Vikings a ton of hate and a ton of shit, I think we also got to give them props to what they were able to do. Last week we talked about Kyrie Jackson from Oregon, their late cornerback that passed away. Something that they're honoring, something that they're going to be doing is honoring him by wearing helmet decals on their helmets. And then they're also going to be paying his sign-on bonus, the rest of his sign-on bonus to his family. Um, huge respect for that. I think that's amazing that they're able to do that for him. That was an unfortunate, situation to barely just starting your life and to
Right.
have it just kind of end. So I give the Vikings huge credit on this, and I think that's amazing that they are able to do that and to show respect and honor him with the helmet and also to pay the rest of his bonus because it's a big part of life is he was going to provide for a lot of people. So I love that. I think that that's awesome that they were able to do that.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. A huge class act from the Vikings. I know we've followed this Kyrie Jackson situation. We talked about Jordan Addison and everything after that. That's awesome for the Vikings to do. Love that and hope that his family, can. I know it's not going to replace their son, but hopefully it helps at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just awesome whenever you see this type of thing happen. And, the Vikings didn't have to pay anybody. You know what I mean? They didn't have to. I'm sure they didn't have to, even with the contract. I mean, did he even sign his contract by the time? Or,
yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just, it's an awesome thing to see, especially with them honoring him with the helmet decals and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's a good on the Vikings.
Definitely good. Let's continue on with some more contract news, though. Talking about your former Cowboys receiver, Feis. Yeah, that's right. Former. You lost him. Amari Cooper. So he got his deal restructured, kind of similar to Matthew Stafford's deal, where they gave him more money. So he's guaranteed to make $20 million next season, and then they added $5 million to his salary. So again, that kind of situation where you don't get the extension, but hey, maybe we can try to figure this out next year, and here's your money now. So I like this for the Browns. Now their quarterback situation's got to be figured out, but obviously Amari Cooper's a dog, so definitely I would keep him for another season or two.
Yeah, well, I mean, Amari Cooper definitely balled out. I mean, didn't matter who was at quarterback, he balled out no matter what. I mean, he balled out with Jacoby Brissett, he balled out with Joe Flacco, he's balled out with Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? Like he's a dog, and the Cowboys are about to let go of another amazing receiver. So,
Why do we have to go there, boys? Hopefully not for a 5th-round pick this time if we end up letting him go. No. I mean, we'll get to that later on, but I love Amari Cooper. You guys have always known I was a big fan of Amari Cooper. I was very upset when they freaking Jerry Jones, that old man, doesn't know what he's doing, but traded him for like a 5th-round pick, and I don't even know what else. But it was the dumbest trade I've ever seen. I liked Amari Cooper. Imagine if we had Amari Cooper and CD Lamb right now, dude. Holy crap! That definitely would push you over the first round, maybe a 2nd-round exit, but
you still
we'll
have
take
Dak
it as well.
Prescott. You still have Dak Prescott, so.
But that's why we get pushed over the first round and exit the 2nd round. So
and if the defense stays healthy.
Anyways, I don't know why we're talking so much crap on the Cowboys. I already do that enough. But honestly, this is exciting news. I think I like this for Amari Cooper. I'm not listening to whatever else you guys have to say. So good for him to get more money. I think, like Kyle said, it's just about trying out, basically. See how well it goes this year. And like you said, Wes, he balled out. So it's just going to be how well do they connect this year to see what they can do next year. He might be up for a big extension if he ends up having the season he did have or a better season. It's just the kind of, I feel like these new contract restructures are more of like tryouts, and so good for the Browns. I love Amari Cooper. If I could get him back, I would honestly do it and give him a 4th-round pick. Just do it a little bit better. So,
yeah. Well, speaking of, like this is the worst thing that could ever happen in the NFL to players is when they hold out for contracts.
Yeah,
it is one of the worst things that could ever happen, and that is what's happening in New York with the Jets. Hassan Reddick is holding out of training camp in hopes to get a new deal. I mean, that's just. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan. I watched Le'Veon Bell do the same thing, and to the Jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he held out for the Steelers, and then he went and signed with the Jets and I think he took less money to do it too.
He did.
Yeah. And and there's some respect there. Get out of whatever situation you thought you were in. But back to Reddick. Go on my little fucking hot button tangent for a second, but but no, I think I just think that this ruins players' careers in the NFL when you start holding out for a season. Obviously, Hassan Reddick, a great player. The Jets just need to pay him, but they can't break the bag for him. I don't think he's anywhere near like a top pass rusher. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. This is what ruins players' careers in the NFL, and I hate it.
Dude, I've always been the biggest advocate for that too. So it's just one of the dumbest things you can do as a player for your career. So why would you hold out? I'd rather just ball out, show them that I'm way better than what they think I am, and get better contract offers, whether it's with them or somebody else. If you're balling out, somebody's going to notice. And I know JJ, he played really well Reddick JJ Redick, wrong sport. Redick played really well for the Eagles, right? Like
God, you
he
couldn't
was.
even make it through the NFL podcast before you brought up
Or-
the Lakers, huh?
This is
Sorry.
this is
Louise.
New
you
record.
guys got to wait for the next segment. All right,
This is the record, though. It's 45 minutes in, so
that's not my
like-
sport. I know who JJ Redick is, but that's not my sport. All
all right, big country. I'm sorry. I'll take that one out. We'll edit it out.
There you go.
Or not. Anyways, I love it. I think that, or no, sorry, I don't love it. I love that he thinks he's worth a lot by sitting out. I think that he's just gonna ruin himself and just go out and ball, man. Like go get your money's worth. I mean, it sucks because you could get hurt, and I get that whole aspect. You could get hurt and not get anything from it. But if you can stay healthy and you can ball out, I feel like you're gonna be worth a lot more. And if he could do the same thing he did for the Eagles, for the Jets, man, that's a dangerous guy. So
It's
that's
definitely. Well, that's the thing is they just traded for him, so that's the weird thing. If you're the Jets, the Jets are the Jets, so it makes sense to me. But the fact that you wouldn't
Or
already
his
have a
career's
plan
gonna
in place
die.
to pay him, right? Because that's the thing. The holdouts, they're not fun. And speaking of holdouts, it's not. He's holding in, so he's not even holding in. My guy, Matthew Judon. He's in a weird situation. So he's been posting all kinds of shit on Twitter. He's a different kind of guy. Like, I don't know if you guys have really followed him, but he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he doesn't hold back. He just kind of tweets whatever, Instagram, whatever, just lets his thoughts out. So he actually retweeted this trade, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this. What you think? So it was just a fake trade that was made by a fan on Twitter, but Judon retweeted it. So Judon to the Niners for a second round pick. Or we give them a second round pick and Judon for a 5th round pick and Brandon Ayuk. So, and then we would pay Brandon Ayuk 5 years, $125 million. Yeah, that's what the report said. Now, I would do this trade if we can't make a deal with Judon anyways. If we can't, I'd do it. Like, we need a number one option. We've secured most of the rest of the defense, so I don't know what you guys think about that, but
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's definitely a good trade. It's a good value trade, I think. But and then you would be pairing Judon up with Sweat and Bosa. You know what I mean? That's dangerous front four right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I
And
don't
I
want
think it
that.
helps the Patriots. That's the thing. I think it helps the Patriots too. Because if you look at it, I know we're gonna lose, and I love Judon. He's the fuck. I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this, or at least our viewers, about my jersey habit, where every time I buy a jersey, they leave. But now Judon's like the last jersey that I have, both basketball and football. But honestly, I think it would make sense for the Patriots and the Niners. Like, if the Niners are gonna get rid of Ayuk anyways, they got plenty of weapons. They got Kittle, they got McCaffrey, they got Debo. And yeah, like you said, that defensive line for the Niners, especially if you kept Judon on a $7.5 million is what he's due this year. That's what he's reported to earn. And that's he's not holding out either. He's full participant in practice, training camp, and everything. So I think it makes sense for both sides.
See, and I mean, I don't think Matthew Judon is a top maybe 5 rusher. Maybe he's at 5. Maybe.
Okay. All right, I can take that. Okay. You had me a little scared.
Obviously, at the top, you have T.J. Watt, Micah Parsons, and Myles
Garrett's better than everybody.
Yeah, you
right?
can shut the hell up about that.
Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett.
I got facts. I got stats. I got a lot of different things here. All right.
But who won Defensive Player of the Year last year?
Yeah, look at the stats, bud. Look who's better.
The stats
They just couldn't keep on giving TJ the Defensive Player of the Year award. That's what that is. That's like not giving LeBron MVP every year. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
But anyway, so just to compare, TJ Watt's making $112 million over 4 years, and his annual salary on average is about $28 million. And obviously, I'm not going to say it, but he's the number one pass rusher in the league. But he's top 3 in the league, right?
Yeah, I would say he is, but Judon at 7.5, that's definitely you're not getting paid your worth. Like, TJ Watt's 28, then Judon should be, 20, 21, something like that, right? 7.5, way below his value. So you definitely got to figure something else out there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pay him. I mean, he's definitely a good pass rusher, and he completes that defensive line because who's the other guy across the line from him?
Josh Uche.
Yes.
And he was only good when Judon was healthy. It was like you were talking about with Highsmith, right? Like Highsmith.
The other guy, the one that went to Tennessee.
Oh,
and Highsmith's the same thing.
Yeah.
Highsmith's the same thing. Yeah.
Where you benefit from having that other guy that takes the attention away.
Yeah, that takes
Bud Dupree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, TJ Watt takes away, 2 to 3 blockers every play, and that gives a one-on-one for Highsmith or Uche or, it doesn't matter who it is. If you have a top pass rusher, that's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to mix up blitz packages to be able to take that stuff away because, now you have a guy that's taking on 3 pass rush or 3 blockers at a time to try to stop them, and then you get one-on-ones across the board.
And that's the thing. Like, Judon has been that good of a guy. I mean, you guys have known every time we had a football Sunday, I'm sitting there every fucking time he gets a sack because I think he is that talented. But like last year, we restructured his contract. It was basically the same thing we kind of talked about with Amari Cooper and Stafford, where they paid him more, but what they did was took money from this season and put it into last season. So now he's in the season with no money, but he did talk about how he hated he hated holding out, which I kind of respect, like, from him. Like you've talked about, Feist, like you hate, and Wes, like you hate these guys that hold out and stuff. And he said he hate that too, because he actually contributes that to why he got injured so quickly last season, is because he didn't have a full training camp because he held out and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's been a weird thing. Like, we don't know where Judon is. We don't know what he feels like. But actually, he came out in the training camp, like press conferences and stuff, said if it was up to him, he'd be a Patriot for life. Like, hell fucking yeah. Like, at the same time, like I said, I would make that Brandon Ayuk trade, but only if we couldn't get a deal done with Matthew Judon. And that's the thing too, is even Gerard Mayo, our new head coach, has said, like, he's a key guy. We want him here. We definitely want him here. We just got to figure out the logistics and stuff and make it all work. So that makes me feel a little bit better, because they've been re-signing hella guys that we've already talked about on this podcast. Kyle Duggar, Christian Barrymore, which I did want to throw in. Apparently he has blood clots, so he's going to be out for a little bit. So prayers to him and everything, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery. But we've just been resigning all kinds of guys on that defense. So Judon's definitely another guy we want to sign. So, hopefully we can figure it out. That makes me, to hear our head coach talk about him like that in such a high manner, that makes me feel a little bit better that maybe we can keep Judon in the red sleeves and doing this for many years to come.
I mean, why would you not want to keep your best player on the defense? He commands so much attention. He commands a lot from just your defense. I think everybody wants to follow that type of leader. So I think it would be a huge loss for the Patriots. And I've definitely been a witness of you always doing that celebration. I'm always like, is he sneezing? What is he doing? So it's
Is
just
he
like
sneezing? Is he
it's
sneezing?
just one of those things. That's just what you do. You find a player that you really like, and you get really into their celebrations. You know that that's that franchise kind of player. So I would hate for
Just
the
like it,
Patriots to
bud.
lose
Right?
him. Yeah, Zeke,
There
feed
you
me,
go.
right? Like that. It's just a big thing that we all do. And I would hate for the 49ers. I think that you
TJ
shouldn't
Watt's
trade him.
kick. While we're
Hmm.
talking about celebrations, that's one of the most badass ones. That high kick.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
fun.
I actually have never seen that, to be honest.
What?
Do you not watch Steelers games? You
Do you not
freaking
watch
noob.
football?
No, I just don't watch Steelers games. Do you not watch
Dude, TJ
football?
Watt's sack celebration is fucking awesome.
Well,
You
I
gotta
watch
watch
Miles Garrett more than I watch
Oh, yeah. All right. All right.
it. What's his celebration? What's his
setting that
celebration?
one up.
Hitting Mason
It doesn't
Rudolph with
even
a
matter.
helmet.
It's probably this. Wait, how do you hold the ring? Wait, what did he say? I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it.
Miles Garrett's
Hitting dudes with
celebration
a
is
helmet.
yeah. Miles Garrett's celebration is hitting Mason Rudolph with a helmet.
Oh, still the defensive player of the year. But I mean, it'd just be a big loss for them. I don't want the 49ers to get another defensive player that's super good. So F that trade. Go figure
Yeah.
out how to trade somewhere else.
Yeah, right. I know
Because
you
that
wouldn't.
that defensive line would be, you barely
God,
can
can
get
you
through them now.
imagine, dude? Can you? Oof. One player that they're not going to get though, Jabril Peppers. I'm happy to see this. He signs a 3-year, $24 million extension worth up to $30 million with like incentives and stuff. Big piece. He's been playing really well for us, and I think it's kind of funny because you know that Bill Belichick got all that heat right from his last couple seasons. We're
Yeah.
re-signing all of his
Everybody.
guys.
Every single one.
Everybody. We're re-signing everybody that Bill either drafted or signed. So
Who did they
like
get in free agency this year?
we like nobody. We got a running back. I think we got Antonio Gibson, but we got Austin Hooper,
You're
like
just re-signing
offensive
Bill
guys. But
Belichick's
other
core.
than that, we've re-signed the entire like defense.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick's defense. So like don't hate on him too much. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think I mean Bill's defenses were always the best, right? I mean they were just they were always.
Well, I think there was like, sorry to interrupt. We lost like 6 or 7 games last year. I think we're 3-14. We lost 6 or 7 games by 3 points or 6 points or less or something like that. Just because our defense kept us in it the entire time. Like remember that Chargers game that was 6-0?
Yep.
The worst fucking game of all time. I swear to God. But yeah, anyway, sorry to interrupt. But yeah, that's like our defense was still in it last year. Just unfortunately, Mac Jones was on that JJ McCarthy level quarterback play, if you know what I'm saying.
I love that he goes. I love that he goes after he said it. He's like,
I know it.
Bryce, you go off on your hot button, bud. You can go off on your hot button.
It's so funny. He's like, I've already said it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and press it.
Gonna hammer that home. Just gonna hammer that home.
Oh man, that is funny. It's one of those things that we've all said it right. Key players are going to be key players, and especially I love that the fact that he said, "I want to be a Patriot for life." Like, why wouldn't you not want to keep a guy like that? And I maybe they just don't want to spend the money on him, but that would be very stupid of them, because he's still got a lot in the tank, and
We still got the
you
cap
do,
space, you know.
and that's true. Maybe they're saving it for next year to see what they can do with the off season. But whatever you do, do not send him to that Niner gang. I do not want to deal with that. Thank you.
It would be over if Judon went to the Niners and he was the number 2. Oh God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I mean, Bill's defenses were always so good. I mean, and that's the big thing, right? I mean, even this is what surprised me. It doesn't surprise me because I know that Bill's a head coach and he's got a lot of pride and with what he does with football and his success that he's had. I mean, I don't think he would go be a DC or an OC or whatever anywhere else. But Kyle Shanahan offered Bill Belichick a job and basically said that he could take whatever job he wanted on that 49er team, which I'm assuming that he meant defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah. But, I just don't think Bill goes backwards like that. I think he just wanted a head coaching job and didn't get one. So he's like, nope, I'm done then.
Yeah, I saw that interview. And Kyle Shanahan was like, yeah, I knew it wasn't going to land, but I wanted to offer it to him. Like, I wanted to give it to him. But I think Bill's got a fuck ton of shit going on. I know he's on the Pat McAfee show. He's going to be on the, what's the Monday Night Football thing that the Manning brothers have? He's going to be on that.
Isn't he an
and stuff
for them?
Yeah, he's going to be, like, he's got all this media shit going on. So I think this year he's just going to, rack up that dough, make his money, and then next year he's going to be a head coach. But can you imagine Kyle Shanahan as the head coach and Bill Belichick as the defensive coordinator?
Oh yeah,
that team is going to be the first undefeated team since the Niners, 18-0 straight through the playoffs. I guarantee.
The Patriots trade Judon.
Yeah, then it would be done.
He goes to seriously, that team would
I would
nuts.
Still take Ayuk. I would.
Sounds like somebody needs to make that trade happen. Hey, just go to Madden, bro, and just go ahead and make that trade happen. But I mean, we all know the great Bill Belichick. I think anywhere he goes, he's going to command attention, and also he's the greatest head coach of all time. So what more is there to say? And like you said, I think it would have been interesting to see if he went to that defense. I think that would have been an insane offense and defensive coordinator type of thing. Well, obviously Shanahan's the head coach, but that would have been very interesting to see. And maybe, like you said, next year, we all know this happens. It's always one or two teams are just booty cheeks, and then they end up needing a new head coach. So I think Bill Belichick will be the number one head coach next year, like free agent wise or whatever you want to call it, that a team signs next year. So it's a no brainer. And
even Kyle Shanahan said, like, if he was an owner of a team, he would automatically hire Bill Belichick as a head coach. Like, he was surprised that Bill wasn't hired. And, it is what it is, because I know the last couple seasons were terrible under Bill and there was a lot of personnel decisions. But
yeah,
speaking of terrible personnel decisions, let's get into some scheduled Cowboys news. Why don't we?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I think if Bill Belichick wants a job next year, the Cowboys will be hiring, just so he knows. And apparently him and Mr. Old Man Jerry Jones have a good relationship. So, hey, I will take Bill Belichick. Please take us to a Super Bowl so I can say at least I've seen one in my lifetime, and I can say we have 6.
The problem is that Jerry Jones just likes to...
Did you see that?
Oh my! Calm down.
6 times.
Calm down, bro.
I don't have one, but yeah, I'm there.
But, we are. This podcast has some of them. What do we got? 12, 17 Super Bowls between our favorite teams. So we've done pretty good.
You can't argue with that. That's success. So let's talk about success. So the Cowboys are looking at their future.
No, sorry, Feist. You said let's talk about success, and then you said Cowboys.
In the future, not right now. In the past, and then in the future, hopefully. But
still not following you there.
Okay, so what if the Cowboys got rid of Dak, and they're actually prioritizing signing CeeDee Lamb? So as we've kind of been like following this kind of thing, we're like, the Cowboys are thinking about giving Dak the contract first over CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. Thank freaking goodness that they're not going to, right? So I'm excited that
Wait. CD is not at training camp. He's holding out, buddy. You
he
remember
is.
how much you don't like players that hold out? Well,
He
CD
is.
Lamb is holding out, my friend.
Okay. But here's a good point to it, right? I think that with this situation, I hate it, but at the same time, this one I understand because it's training camp. I think if it was the the red season, I think I would have been more pissed about it and said, "Okay, this is stupid. Why are you doing this to
Well,
your career?"
regular
But
season's coming.
huh?
Regular season's coming.
It's almost here, buddy. There's not that
But
much
there's
time
been
left.
news. There's already news that actually they kind of agreed on a number yet. It hasn't been official since last Friday. There was reports coming in that they've agreed on a new contract. Now, does that mean he's getting Justin Jefferson money? I'm not sure. Does that mean he's getting a higher than Justin Jefferson? I think it really does go Justin Jefferson and then CD Lamb, right?
Yeah.
I will fight to that to the death, right?
That's fair.
And
That's
so I'm excited for this. I think that if they end up offering him the money that he deserves and keeping him for the next 4 or 5 years type of contract, that's amazing. And I'm glad it's not Dak. I think the next person that needs to go up to that is Mr. Micah Parson. Forget about Dak. Let him prove himself this year. Talk about a proving yourself year. I think
Yeah.
if he can get past the first round, I think that's when you can kind of start talking about contract extensions. But until then, I think this Micah Parson and CD Lamb getting signed first to big contracts is priority number one for me, and I'm excited and I'm like happy to hear that that's what's happening.
I already gave my thoughts on the subject.
CD Lamb. He
Well,
said.
okay. I'm going to say right now that I don't like Dak, but I did see a thing saying, or if you follow the stats, right, he's got the same exact stat line as Patrick Mahomes. So
Right.
is Dak the problem, or is he just the face? Maybe
That's
I'm
why
just
we're going to be
throwing it out
hiring
here.
Bill Belichick next
I'm
year.
just throwing it out here because I honestly think that one of the bigger problems with the Cowboys is their defense. Yes, their defense is stacked, but they don't stay healthy, right?
Yep.
Trayvon Diggs is good or bad? Have we decided that yet?
He's not good.
That's another day.
Oh,
Not
okay.
good.
We'll talk about that next time. Okay.
I'll say it right now. He's not good. But
That's for another day. We already decided. Said enough.
But I think that I just throwing it out there. I mean, is Dak really the problem? I mean, that's my question. You know, because I mean, the defense gets injured, and then Dak, obviously, like we were talking about with Matthew Stafford, it's going to be a lot harder for players to stay in games because their defense is bad. So I just, is Dak the problem? I think that getting Lamb is kind of like what the Vikings did with Justin Jefferson. It's going to be the same kind of deal. But also, Jerry Jones already said once that he's prioritizing Dak, and now all of a sudden they're prioritizing Lamb. Like this, what are they doing actually? You know what I mean?
Right.
Nothing. They're doing nothing. Is what they're doing. Sorry, Feis.
No. I mean, I agree with you. I think that I would like to see what Dak does. Here's my biggest issue with Dak. I think he's a good player. I've always said this. He's a good. Yeah, let's go ahead and press that button for me real quick. I think he's a good player, right? He puts up numbers that he needs to put up every year to be at least in the top 5, top 10 quarterbacks, right? But the problem is, it's not statistically. It's when the clutch moments come. This dude is the biggest joke of all time. He will literally pass to the other team thinking that they're on his team and throw a pick. That's my biggest issue. It's when the moment is to win it or go home, or a game that they need to win it. Dak almost does anything possible just to choke that game. And that's my issue, is how can you move on from that? That's not a coaching personnel, right? That's a player personnel. That's your skills, your timing of everything. And that's my biggest issue with Dak. It's not that he's not a good quarterback, but at the end of the day, you're the team leader. At the end of the day, if something goes wrong offensively, you're the one to be blamed for. So
Right. The
I'm sorry.
quarterback
I'm
and the
sorry.
head
I pushed the
coach.
hot button, Feist. I'm sorry I pushed the hot button.
I'm just saying, show up, Dak. I would love to have you as my
There we
franchise
go.
quarterback.
Hey,
But
Hey, pay him
show
60. They might pay him $60 million a year. He can
show
surpass
up
Jordan
first.
Love.
No, I say show up first and then go in and say, okay, he showed up. He's actually performing. He performs when it really matters because the dude just cannot perform. I remember the playoffs this year when we were on the last drive and he freaking throws a pick and it's game. Like what? You are the quarterback. You're the team leader. Make something happen. Whatever happens, those top three quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen, whatever it is, they make it work with their feet. They're able to get out of the pocket and make something happen. Like they're able to do what they need to do to win that game, period. And I just feel like Dak doesn't do that.
Well, before Feist just like goes on for another hour in this podcast about how much he hates Dak Prescott, I just wanted to throw this one out for the boys, and then we'll end it here. The Chiefs are planning to use Kadarius Toney in the backfield this next season because I guess they don't trust him to catch passes anymore. So let's just hand it off to you, buddy. Here you go.
let me
Here
just
you go.
hand you the ball instead of trying to throw it to you.
That's just for the boys. I remember we made so many freaking jokes about the Chiefs and Kadarius Toney especially dropping them passes and still won the Super Bowl. Imagine that. Imagine that. Well, thank you, boys, and thank you everybody for joining us for this awesome NFL episode. Honestly, that was a banger, and we're about to the NFL season. It's about to get hot. It's about to get hot, so I can't wait for it. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the other side. And welcome back. So let's get into some Team USA news because the Olympics are happening, baby. So let's get into it. So
Whoa. Hold on a second. Let's
What?
wait that for a second. Let's
what
talk
could
about
be
some
more
Laker
important than
Laker news. LeBron and Bronny.
Of course.
So let's get into this real quick before you get into Team USA news. This is more big news. Bronny James.
Okay.
Bronny
Stop
James,
yourself there.
baby. You know how I feel about Bronny James. So there was a report that came out that he is also becoming one of the people are betting on him to win the Rookie of the Year. So
Yeah, just like they bet on him to be the number one pick. I remember he was the favorite to be. Okay, all right. Go ahead, hammer those bets home, people. Hammer them home. Okay.
And his odds are not great. It's 250 to 1.
But they're the best. It was the best.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And which is kind of surprising because you look at what Bronny's been able to do in the summer league. I know we haven't talked a whole lot on that, so it's interesting to me to see this kind of news come up. I love talking about Bronny and the Lakers. It's my second favorite team because of LeBron, Daddy Bron. I just wanted to throw that out there that people wanted.
So that's
him
all the
the
Lakers
Rookie of the
news
Year.
that you have for us today. That we can just move on, or
Not quite yet, baby. Let's get to another Laker news. So we were talking about a while ago who's going to be on JJ Redick's staff. So they are currently actually adding the G League Coach of the Year, Lindsey Harding, to his staff. She was able to lead the G League team to I forgot what it was. I don't know if they went to the championship, but it's just amazing because she is the coach of the year for that league, and so it's amazing to see a female coach get into that staff, and I'm excited for it. I think we were all kind of questioning who is going to be on his staff, and this could be a good thing. You know, we were all about having women's sports be something, and that it's popping off, and there's more coaches that are becoming female coaches, and so I love this. I think the Lakers are gonna see a little bit of both sides, where they see the G League and especially with her having that connection with the G League, she can kind of help develop those younger players, including Bronny. And so something to throw out there because we love talking about the Lakers. So
Yes, sir. Well, that's good for them. And yeah, with as far as Bronny goes, like, yeah, he's not going to be the rookie of the year, obviously. Like, I
why
don't know why
not?
you pull that up, but Cody Williams, that's why. What's his name? Isaiah Collier, obviously.
Mm,
Kyle Filipowski. Those are
mm.
guys you want to look out for rookie of the year, not Bronny James. I promise.
That
Well,
sounds
they
like a
all just
heavy
so happen
favorite.
to be Jazz players.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Yeah, that was weird.
that was weird.
It's only because I heard of what was the name, Alex Sarr going 0 for 15 in his summer league game or something like that. That's the only
Those two
reason.
top, like the top 5 players, did not do too well in the
But
in
that's
the
what a lot of
summer league.
that's what a lot of coaches talk about though in summer league is like when you look at it, like you can have guys that'll score 25 points a game in summer league that don't deserve a roster spot, and then you
Yeah,
can have a guy that scores 4 that is going to be a key, roster guy going through the year.
right,
So, like that's what they talk about with summer league. Like don't look at the stats too much. They're trying things out, they're doing different things, so
for
it
sure.
makes sense. But anyways, like I was trying to start off this podcast with, Team USA, okay?
Okay.
So let's recap. And I don't know, it's not been amazing because obviously we love Team USA here. But they barely beat South Sudan
Yeah.
101-100, and only because of your boy Daddy Braun game-winning layup. Dude, I'll just say it now. LeBron is popping the fuck off in these playoffs, and it's the only reason we haven't lost a game.
Yeah.
LeBron is going off. He's 39 fucking years old, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I still say like he's the GOAT, but like I know I've been a little more harsh on him than you have, especially in recent years. But this
Right.
dude is stepping the hell up for Team USA right now. And if it weren't for him, we'd be fucked.
Yeah.
I will say that.
And the thing is like you look at how many people like talked about him, how many athletes, and then everybody on that team saying he is the alpha of that team. At
Right.
39 years old, bro, the alpha of a team that's stacked with Kevin Durant, Curry, Ant-Man, like
To
Anthony
be
Davis.
fair, Kevin Durant hasn't played until we'll get into that a little bit
Correct.
later.
Right.
But true, very
But
stacked team.
Joel Embiid, like it's
Yes.
players that you are MVPs or were runner-up on MVPs, like
Number
they're
ones on
multiple.
their team for sure, at least, right?
And to be called the alpha of that team is insane. And I
At
think it just
39, at 39.
huge, like to
Like
just to
we
show
talked
that.
about it, right? We talked about Ant-Man, how Ant-Man said like, "Hey, this team's running through me."
Right.
And he's 22 or something like that. No,
Yeah.
bro. We've talked about it many times on this podcast. I'm a big fan of Ant-Man.
Right.
Not running through you, bro. It's running through LeBron James for
And
sure.
it was amazing to see at one of the games actually Ant-Man was like, you know how LeBron always goes and flexes like this whenever he makes something, like it's just one of his
Yep.
things. It was cool because Ant-Man actually I don't remember what play it was, but something happened and LeBron made an and one.
Oh yeah,
And
it was like
Ant-Man
after
just
a dunk or something.
yeah, and then he came up and was just like flexing
Did
with
it
him.
to
It was like one of the
hell
coolest
yeah.
pictures I've ever seen. And so even then he notices it too, right? Like this is gonna be your team in a couple years in the next
Mhm.
Olympics or whatever you want to call it. But this is LeBron's team, and it's a huge accomplishment for him and what he's been able to do, especially with them being that big of a favorite.
I was going to say 43.5-point favorites, bro. And we beat them by 1 thanks to the heroics of LeBron.
And
like
the
legit,
thing is,
if it wasn't for LeBron, we lose to South Sudan, bro. Like what?
And I was gonna say, I don't know if you saw the report. It's like South Sudan doesn't even have an indoor court. Like,
yeah,
these are players that like not a lot of them, not even many of them are on an NBA team. So
No,
they're
I
all
don't
playing
think
in the
so.
African
Yeah.
League, and so it's like, wow, thank you, LeBron, is what I'm thinking everybody was saying. And then I know it's just a like a friendly type of game, and it was just to kind of get the Olympics
Yeah,
started.
it's the preliminaries and stuff. But
Yeah,
I think my thing is though, like I know that the world has caught up to Team USA, like for sure. Like if you, I know the dream team was the dream team, and I won't dispute it. The dream team was fucking stacked, and I
yeah,
think that the dream team is better than our team right now, even the redeem team and everything. But the world has caught up for sure, way
yeah,
better.
everywhere.
Canada's got like basically all NBA players. France,
Yep.
all NBA players. Australia's there. Like there's all kinds of teams. But Team USA has a stacked ass roster this year. We've got pretty much everybody. We got Curry. We got Tatum. Tatum didn't even play. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I won't get too far. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of
that's how
myself. But like
excited it is. That's
we
how
just have
exciting it is.
so many freaking people,
Right.
and we need to step the hell up and like start blowing out these teams because we got the best players and we got to show that. You know what I mean?
And then there was another big scare against this country right here. I don't know if you guys can see. Germany, good old Germany, they barely, also not barely, but they beat Germany 92 to 88. So that was another big scare for them, and to see that like be a big part of the summer or this Olympics, it's just crazy to me. Like you said, these teams, these countries are catching up to Team USA, and this is a team that they should have beat by like 20 points, right? But no,
Right. I mean,
now,
this roster, like, I'm sorry, but I know they got a couple of, I think they have a couple of like NBA guys. I think they got Wagner or
yeah,
something. Like,
they
they got
they
a
would have
couple of
had
good
Schroeder.
guys
Yeah,
and Schroeder, yeah. But come on, bro. We got Steph Curry, we got LeBron, we got Ant, we got, and on and on and on. Like, we should not be beating Germany by 4, bro.
you're
That's
right.
embarrassing.
Yeah, and the thing again, the common dominator that's being the big talk about, LeBron dominates this game again and finishes with 20 points and 6 rebounds. So
Which is a thing I want to make sure like everybody knows that these aren't NBA games. It's a 40-minute, and I think it's four
10
quarters,
minutes.
so 4 10-minute, yeah,
Yeah,
quarters. And so there's a lot more restricted minutes. So these 20-point games are more like, 30-point games in the
yeah,
NBA. So this is, yeah, LeBron popped off yet again, is what you're saying.
and became a savior for the Team USA. So I mean, what can you say, man? At third, like we've already said it, at 39 years old to be the alpha and saving this team over and over again, man. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do in this Olympics. If they don't win gold, ooh, this might be a huge disappointment, a huge
Dude, if
big.
they don't win, oh man, I don't even know. I'll have to do something embarrassing. We'll have to talk about that. If we don't win gold, I will do something embarrassing. I'll put that out there. We don't know
Okay,
what it is yet, but we'll
wow,
figure it out. We better fucking win gold, man. I'll be so pissed. I'll be so
yeah,
pissed if we don't. Speaking of though, so today was the first day that we officially played our like real games, not the preliminary, and we
yeah,
played Serbia again, which wasn't that big of a deal. We beat them 110 to 84. But a good news for Team USA is KD came back. Motherfucker pops off eight
popped
for
off,
eight in the
yeah,
first half. 8 for 8, dude. This guy, I know, Slim Reaper, dude. I know that it's kind of like a sore subject, a hot button, if you will. I know that like KD's
Ugh,
got a lot of history with you, but that dude is so talented.
yep,
And so that's going to be a huge piece for us to have back because we didn't have him for any of the preliminary games.
right,
So that's going to be huge. And then LeBron still chipped in 21 of his own on 9 for 13 shooting. So he still freaking dominated. So
wow,
I like that team. You got Curry, you got LeBron, you got KD. Might not matter, who else is on that team. So
right.
hopefully we look better. I know it was Serbia. I think we crushed Serbia in the preliminary game, so I don't want to get too excited, but We got to
Right.
build off this. I think that LeBron has even said it. Like now, we got to like dial in. We got to take shit serious, and we got to make sure we move forward because there's so many superstars on this team. You got to find a way to work together,
Well,
right?
and that's what I was gonna say too. Is like I feel bad for being Steve Kerr because it's like who do you play? Like I know that they messed around with a lot of it in the preseason games or pre like Olympic games, like
Yeah.
but like there's just so many like
Well, did you know
scores, so many
he said? Sorry to interrupt you. He said that he felt like an idiot because guess what? Jason Tatum didn't even play
even
today.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did
And he
see
said
that.
he's like, I feel like an idiot for not playing Jason Tatum. And hey, like I get that, but that's how stacked our roster is. That's how many
Right.
freaking players we have. You know what I mean?
An NBA Finals, a like this guy
He
was
just
just
won the
killing it in the playoffs.
championship,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So I do really feel for Kerr because you have a team that's so stacked with so many scores that anybody could pop off any moment. So and especially with it being a short games like they are, it's makes it harder. I think if it was the longer NBA games, then I think it would maybe be a little bit easier to kind of give minutes to everybody. But
Right.
it's almost like you should be happy to be on this team because this team is just crazy stacked, like you
It's
said.
stacked. I
And
mean, what I don't know if I would say obviously it's not the dream team,
right,
right? Is it better than the Redeem team, that 2008 team?
I don't think so.
I don't know,
I think that could be a question. That would
right?
be yeah.
Because
That
obviously the
might
dream
have
team
its
is the dream
chance.
team, right?
Right.
But 2008, I think, was like our second best team,
Yeah.
and then it kind of fell off. I think this is definitely our best team, at least since our Redeem team, for
Yeah, I
sure.
think they're called the Revenge Team, is what they're
Is that
being
what they're
called.
deeming them this year?
Because yeah, because you think about the team that played in the World Cup and before is like it was just a bunch of like stars, but not
Yeah,
superstars, right? And so this is the team that's supposed to put some respect on U.S. basketball, and they're calling it the Revenge Team. I'm pretty sure. So I'm just excited to see what happens through the rest of the Olympics. I think it's going to be exciting to see how they work together as far as like this dynamic, who's going to be starting what game. And it's nice because you don't have to play every player, but it's also nice to have those options later in the quarters when everybody's tired that not all these teams have these superstars. I think we have that advantage because you can put anybody in there and they'll take over the game. So it's just a matter of fact, how do they work together and how do they and like LeBron and Curry, we've talked about a lot how excited they've been to be on the same team. They've never
yeah.
been on a same team. They've always been just competition. But like,
I love seeing those like clips and
yeah,
stuff, dude. They're having fun. They're
yeah.
having fun playing
So
together.
and they both said it, man. Everybody's been putting good comments on LeBron's name. Like, you don't know how good this guy is until you
Yeah,
play with him. Like, you
yeah.
can play against him, but when you're playing with him, the way his mind works, his basketball minded. And I know I'm a LeBron homer. I'm a writer till die, but dude,
No, yeah,
he's just showing that he is the goat, in my opinion. And if they can pull off this gold medal, might just solidify it for many people, and that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I
yeah.
will respect
We better,
anybody.
bro.
But
But yeah, we better. If we don't, it's gonna be the one
MJ,
question I
LeBron,
have is France. The one question I have is France because we haven't played them yet.
yeah,
So I wonder how they're gonna go. I know that Rudy Gobert just got posterized again, and
yeah,
Shaq's hating on him again.
uh,
But they have a hell of a team, and obviously now Wemby's on that team, so
yeah.
it's gonna be exciting to see. But yeah, that's as far as we're updated now. So let's get into NBA news. And guess
Mm,
what? Russell Westbrook. Let's talk
yep.
about him. Your boy traded to the Jazz
Again.
again. I don't know why the Jazz just love to be the buyout guy, but yeah. So if for of you that don't know, he got traded from the Lakers to the Jazz, bought out, and then went to the Clippers. Now he got traded from the Clippers to the Jazz, bought out. And so we just got more money. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Chris Dunn. I love this guy. I think we talked about him last time, like energy guy, vibe guy, defensive guy, like awesome dude. And I think he's going to be a good part for the Clippers. He's going to play a good key role. We get a second round pick swap and cash. So basically, we get money from this deal, and we get to buy out Russell Westbrook.
Somebody needs to create a jersey
All-time record, right? For
dude.
being a Jazzman, but never ever coming close to playing a game.
I think they said he's technically one of the best point guards to ever play for the Jazz, because you have Stockton and it's always been like 20 minutes.
Darren
The first time I
Williams.
think he was on 20 minutes. He was on the team for 20 minutes before he was traded. I don't know how long this one was, but like people have been kind of making those jokes where they're like, he's kind of been he's on the Jazz team. Oh, he's not on the Jazz team. So I would hate to like see it, because the Westbrook and the Jazz just have that beef.
They hate each
never
other.
work.
They hate. Yeah, I mean, like let's not beat around the bush. They hate each other. Westbrook hates the Jazz. Jazz hate Westbrook. Like Utah hates Westbrook. I don't hate Westbrook.
I don't hate Westbrook. I love Westbrook.
Well, yeah, we know.
But it's just like one of those
he's
things.
Gonna join the. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say he's gonna join the Nuggets. That's what was the report after the buyout.
And I don't like this. And he does end up signing a 2-year, $6.5 million contract. I don't like this just because I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to Denver. I've been very critical with Denver. I just think that they try to push the whole LeBron narrative that they've beaten LeBron and like they're blah blah blah. So I just don't know how I feel about this one. I still love Westbrook no matter what. I think this pushes.
It's like him joining the 49ers.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. It hurts, dude. It really does hurt. At the end of the day, it's a business game. He's got to, make his. And I think that the Nuggets, people were kind of joking around and saying, yeah, the Nuggets are done for. But I think this kind of helps the Nuggets, because now you have a player that can be sixth man of the year coming off the bench.
$6.8 million, like that's
for 2 years. If not, it doesn't work the first year.
That's nothing.
So, that's all I gotta say. It hurts, but I get it.
I get you, buddy.
I can't do anything about it. So I'm just gonna be cheering him on when I see him, but at the same time, be like, take that jersey
not for
off.
the Nuggets. Not for the Nuggets.
Another player that actually we can cheer for is Mobley. He was given a 5-year max rookie deal that is worth up to $269 million. So the Cavs are locking him down. This was reported by Woj. Woj don't lie, so he got his bag.
I'm more of a Shams guy myself
nowadays, but audience, let's help my boy out, because that does not sound right.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Pat McAfee show, and they're a Shams guy, so I'm gonna be a Shams guy. Okay. Woj is falling behind. Okay. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
I mean,
but anyway,
the guy tells facts.
True. And Mobley, hey, we were talking about this though the last time. I know me, you, and Shawnee Boy were talking about the Cavs, where they got all these guys that are similar talent, right? So now they've locked down Donovan and they've locked down Mobley. So are those the guys that they're gonna go with, right? Because you paid both of them a fuck ton of money. So do you let Jared Allen go? Do you let Garland go? It's going to be interesting to see what the Cavs, do going forward, because they've obviously chosen a couple of guys at least.
Right. And I think that they're going towards the combo of Devin Mitchell and Mobley, just because they're still young. You can still get your money's worth. I think Jared Allen's kind of on the older side, even though in the NBA, really, like, you can be playing at age 39. LeBron James. Just have to. But I think that you can afford to let go of Jared Allen. I think Garland's still going to be part of the picture, at least for another year or two, just to kind of see where they're at, to kind of get a better feel of the new head coach that they just got. And so, I mean, you can't go wrong with this. I think this is a great signing for the Cavs, and I think it's a great thing for Mobley because he can be a centerpiece player, and and like we said before, these are all very similar players. So if you keep at least two of the four that are very similar, then it kind of works out for you, and especially when they're on the younger side of it. So
Right. And speaking of centerpiece players, let's talk about our centerpiece, Larry Markkinen. Okay.
okay,
I know we've talked about it plenty of times, so we don't have to get into it too crazy. But
right.
I just saw this report that the Warriors are refusing or like don't want to give up the Podziemski guy. Can Kyle pronounce that name? No. But
Can anybody
whatever that
pronounce
guy
that name?
is, and then Kaminga,
Yeah.
right? And even our boy Sean was like, okay, if you don't want to give those guys up, give up Steph. Like, I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, Larry Markkinen's a freaking all-star. Like, what do you expect us to give him up for? And I even
Right.
seen reports like we won't give him up unless it's a undeniable offer or something. But
Yeah.
this report was like they don't want to give up their second and third best player, basically. Like, we know we're not going to get Steph. I get that,
Yep.
but you got to give us something, or we're not going to give you Lowry. Like, Lowry and Steph. Like, I think you've been the most adamant about how good those two could be on this podcast, and you gotta give us something. We're not gonna give up Lowry for nothing. So I just think this is a stupid ass report, honestly.
Yeah, and the thing too to look at is I've said it, that pick and roll could be working so well, especially
Pick
with
and
both of
roll,
them being
pick
able
and
to
pop
shoot.
too. Can you
Yeah,
imagine? Because Laurie is so good in the pick and pop.
yeah,
That
yeah,
guy can. I mean,
and
maybe the best at that power forward position. That 4-3 whatever.
yeah.
Like, he might be the best in the league. I maybe a homer, but he's that good. Like, he can
But
shoot.
and the thing you gotta also think about too is Steph works really well without the ball, right?
Mhm.
Imagine just kind of him coming off the ball with Laurie
And
setting a
so does
screen for him,
Lowry.
and
Yeah.
so and then popping, or vice versa,
Mhm.
Going back out and popping the three. So I think this was a dumb report. I think that the Jazz definitely need something from the
You
Warriors
got
in
to
order to
give us
make this trade.
everything, bro. Like,
Yeah,
we can't give you Lowry for
a
something.
centerpiece, a
We
big
have You got to
centerpiece.
give us everything. I know we're in a rebuild, but
Yeah.
I would say you have to give us Kaminga, Podzingas Badingas or whatever his name is, and
Yeah.
4 first round picks. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you
Wow.
got to give us something.
Yeah.
3, 2, 3. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too much, but you have to give us a good haul for
I
sure.
think I think that's in my opinion, I think that might be a little bit much. I think you're either gonna get one or the other. I mean, I get the point of it, right? But I think you get one or the other player and then you get quite a bit of draft picks from it. But I agree. I think Laurie is he was an all-star already. He's shown he's a good player, and I'm 100% sure if he went to go play with Curry, he's going back to the all-star game. So the Warriors
He's
got to
gonna go
give
back to
something
the
in
All
order to
Star game
take.
no matter what. Okay, he's gonna
Yeah,
go back
that
to the All Star game as a jazz man. I promise.
if they end up keeping him, why not build? And
It
I
sounds
like we
like
said this.
yeah. It sounds like there were. It sounds like they will because I just don't see any offer out there
Yeah,
that
that they
you can.
like.
Yeah, right. Like, you got to give us something.
Well,
So,
and you got to give something that is worth their while.
and
That
Lowry
it's
likes it here too. So I think if we commit to him, hey,
yeah,
I know we're rebuilding, but want to rebuild around you,
yeah,
and we can get an extension. I don't think it'll happen this year because the way the NBA contracts work is kind of weird. Because I think we could only offer him a certain amount of money this year, and then
right.
next year he can get way more.
Like a
So
max. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think it's just depending on their contracts before or their rookie contracts or whatever it was. So, and like I said, man, I think we've all touched the point on this one. It's you got to give the Jazz somebody that's going to be their centerpiece for that rebuild, and draft picks. You can't just
Yeah.
have you can't just have an all-star player and give nothing back. Whether this
Well, you
extension
guys
happens
gave up
for
Paul
Laurie or not.
George and you got SGA, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
You got to
and
get something like that.
SGA, who knew? We said it last week. We said it in past episodes before. Who knew he was going to turn out that way?
Right.
And we
But
ended up
but
winning
you
that.
knew he was like a decent guy, right? Like a
Yep.
Kaminga, maybe,
Yep.
right? Like
Yeah.
maybe. You know what I mean? You
So.
got to give us something. If you're not willing to give us Kaminga or whatever, okay, see ya.
Yep. I
Move on.
agree. So. And the sad news kind of continues on. Like we've talked about this for a while now. TNT, we're trying to. I think we as viewers and listeners, we need to start a petition because this just doesn't. For me, it doesn't seem right. So TNT ended up matching, or Warner Brothers, they ended up matching Amazon Prime's price or bid for the NBA rights, and NBA rejects it.
NBA said, "Fuck you."
Yep.
Like
Yep. We
literally,
don't
literally
we
though.
don't
They
care
were
about
like,
the
"No,
fans.
screw you."
Right. Yeah, and we could both pop off about this because we've been a big supporter of the TNT team. We love Charles, we love Shaq, Kenny, Ernie. Like we love those guys because of what they bring to the basketball. And I've said this over and over again. That ABC team, or was it ESPN team?
ESPN,
Yeah,
ABC is the
ESPN.
same
Yeah,
company. Yeah.
like it just doesn't seem. They don't seem very like interesting to listen to. They don't have the
No.
same takes. It's just it. There's nothing basketball. NBA is not without TNT, right? TNT makes NBA worth watching, and
Yes.
I just don't understand why they're not keeping TNT because how many viewers, how many fans love the show? Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's not even a question because like you watch the NBA for, what you want to watch, but Shaq, like you said, Shaq, Charles, Kenny, Ernie, they bring you in and they bring so many views. Like I promise you, I'll send the same you know it. I'll send the same memes to you every freaking time about Charles
yeah,
Barkley doing something like he's that entertaining. Like
yeah,
that's what people love to see. And even he said that they TNT never had a chance.
yep,
And they chose money over the fans. And I think we talked about it on this podcast where we were like, yeah, TNT is, choosing college football over the NBA, but then they surprised us and they said, "Hey, we'll pay it." So now they're suing the NBA for a breach of contract, which
wow,
I mean, it seems kind of legit to me because it was in the reports like we talked about. TNT has a right to match, which we thought they weren't going to do, but they did.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of weird for the NBA to, take this stand.
Well, and the thing is, to me, the biggest thing is obviously TNT has said they're gonna take appropriate action. They're willing to go through whatever necessary to get this done because they actually care about their fans and they actually care about providing good quality entertainment, especially when it's that halftime report, like whatever it is, pre-show. Like we love watching
The
Shaq and
Kenny, the Kenny run to the board, baby.
yes, and you've
Yes,
seen me do
sir.
that many times.
Yes,
I've made fun of
sir.
him so many times. Like and Shaq and Charles going at it every time. Like
The
you
best. It's the
you
best,
don't
bro.
you don't see that anywhere else. So like
You
for
really don't. That's what I like, with you and with Wesley on other podcasts and everything. Like, just the natural, like, back and forth that we can
yeah,
have. Like, it's like you're actually buddies. It's not coworkers like you're talking about on, like, the ESPN,
right.
the ABC broadcast,
I
right?
feel like
Like,
that.
you can just actually just, like, just go off. Like, they'll
Yeah,
allow Shaq, they'll allow Charles to just ramble on about nothing. And it's way more entertaining. Even if Charles, because there's times where Charles doesn't know what he's fucking talking about,
Yeah.
but it's way more entertaining than listen to even Stephen A. Smith. I'll say it or whatever. Like
Great
it's
analyst.
more entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they are still very educated in the sport. Like it's
Yep.
not like they're just dumb and they're funny. They actually are really educated in the sport.
And former players sometimes make the best analysts
Former
because they know.
Hall of Famers too,
Yeah.
like some of the dream team players. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah, and I think that at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a deal done. I hope that there is a deal done. I don't want to be watching another team. I think we got this season coming up, and then
Yep.
if something doesn't happen, I think we've mentioned this. Charles said he's done. He doesn't want to be part of anything else. I think
Yep.
Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie will still be part of something, but to me, it's just frustrating because everybody that like we've heard or kind of talk about it, tweet about it, like we've seen their support for TNT team, and if the NBA doesn't see that, they're about to lose a lot of viewership. And I've said this
100%.
before. They've done it where now you can get the NBA 2K and you can get the NBA League Pass with it. Like I know they're trying to figure out ways to like kind of push streaming a little bit more to the NBA League thing that they have, the NBA League Pass. But
Yeah.
that's not as good quality like watching the game than watching it on TNT, having that pre-show team and the halftime show with Kenny, Ernie, and Charles and Shaq. So
It changes the game for sure. For sure. Well, anyways, let's end it on that note. Feisty, thank you as always for joining us. And everybody, make sure to give us a like, comment, follow on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. And then we're also on TikTok. So make sure to give us likes and comments. But let us know what we need to freaking talk about because we're here for it. We want to hear more from you guys. So thank you guys for, as always, for joining us. And then we'll see you guys on the other side. We're going to get on a regular schedule this time. So let's freaking go, baby. Let's go.
Go, man.
Let's go. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.